Howdy folks, welcome to Beach Bum Creations. This is Tom, and on this channel we will show you how to take all the items you find on the beach. The seashells, the driftwood, the seaweed, critters, everything you find on the beach. We'll show you how to turn them into lifelong memories using resin. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and we'll get going. Alright folks, hi, how you doing? In today's episode, or in this episode, it's going to take several days, I'm going to make some sort of jewelry container that you can hang on the wall, or you can set it on a countertop. And because I have to have something, a cavity inside, I'm going to use this little heart right here. Well, you can see it better here. It's got paper on it. And I'll put it in here. And that way, this will be inside will be the container where you'll put your jewelry, and then the outside around the edges will be the resin and shells. I'll put clear in here first, a small layer of clear, maybe a 1/4 inch thick. And just before it gets hard, I'll put some shells in it upside down, so when you look at it this way you can see them, because I'll take the resin out of this container when it's completely cured. And I'll do that, and then right after I do that, I'll set this in here on top of that, and then pour more resin around the edges. I'll put more in here and then put this in, and then pour it around the edges, so that once this is in here together, it's flush with the back of this. And then I'll put some rope around the edges here. And I'm thinking about putting a cross in here with some driftwood. We'll see how that looks. So, we'll get started on this. We'll be back in a little bit when we get this label off of here. They're very, very difficult. Very difficult. All right, folks, I'm back. I've mixed up 56 grams of part A, 28 grams of part B. This has been stirred for a while. It's burning hot. It's about to melt this plastic container. So I'm just going to pour this in here. All I want is just a little thin coat. Just enough to cover the bottom. I don't know if this is enough, but it's one of the reasons why I tell you how much I put, because if I make this again, I'll know and refer back to this video. So, yeah, this stuff was starting to hard up already. I waited too long. Okay. So we'll get this all put out here in the corners. In the edges, I should say. It'll flow down and find its home. It's not completely, it'll be a few more hours before it's completely stops moving, stops running. Okay, so there you go. I'll come back when this is all ready, all hard. All right, folks, I'm back. And while this is drying, I forgot to tell you to have your heat gun ready when you pour resin. It's not real important on here, because if there's bubbles in there, it really doesn't matter. I just like to put it on there so everything flows nice. At any rate, also you need some alcohol and paper towel in case you get any on your hands. I went through, after I poured that, and went and found some shells, and I've got as small of shells as I can find. I got all the larger ones there, and then the medium size here, and then the smaller ones here. So as always, when I do my projects, I start with the biggest shells first, And anything that sits real tall, like say this one for instance, this cowrie right here. See, it's not that big a shell, but it sits tall. So, and this one here is combed Venus. It sits tall because of these stickers. So on those, I will put those down like that in this area, because this is going to go here, this plastic thing, so it won't go down. Stuff that's real high can be right up in those ears, like those corners, and it shouldn't be a problem, because I'll run out of space to get this container in there if I have too much space. So I'm going to go ahead and set these in there right now. I don't know if you want to watch, but you can if you like. Okay, it's going to work good. All right, that'll do it. I'll come back. I'm going to go mix some more and put another coat on it right now. Another layer. All right, folks, I'm back. I mixed up 78 part A and 39 of part B. And what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to sprinkle some of these. These are just my broken shell pieces. I'm going to sprinkle them all around in here for two reasons. One, it looks good. Well, you won't be able to see through, I hope. And two is it fills the inside of these shells sitting there so it don't use so much resin. So, I'm going to go ahead and pour this on here right now. And I just want to just barely cover it. I hope I made enough. I don't know. We'll find out. But I just want to barely cover them all. That'll secure it. I cannot let this dry. This, oh man, this is about almost like perfect amount. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's beautiful. Perfecto. Okay, I usually don't scrape the container, but you can see you get quite a bit when you scrape it, but I usually don't, because if it wasn't mixed well, it won't harden up right there in that spot. But in this case, it really don't matter, because I'm going to put another coat on top of this. There's a coat below it, and there'll be a coat on top of it. So the next coat, the last coat for sure, I make sure is really good. You can see there's a lot of bubbles in there. I really, again, don't care, because you're not going to be able to see those bubbles. So, but I think just it just looks better for me. Everything is smoothed out without bubbles. So I go ahead and get rid of them. Some plastic I don't, because some plastic will melt. When you hit it with the heat gun, it'll just distort. So this one's pretty good. So see, this is just about right. So I'm going to set this on here right now. So I got to make sure that this stays below this lid. It's pretty close. Yep. Okay, that's good. Okay, put this on here, keep it weighted down so it don't float. Okay, when I come back, I'm gonna give this a few hours. Probably won't do it today. But I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up and put shells, more shells in here. Some of these will go down in here. And then I gotta figure out, I think that's all I'm gonna do is just put it there. I don't know, we'll see. Alrighty folks, I'm back. See, I've mixed up 92 grams of part A, 46 of part B. It's just clear, no glitter, nothing's in it, no color. And I mixed it up quite a while ago, so it's ready to pour right now. It's burning hot. This may be a lessons learned. We're going to find out in a second here. It's going to pour it right here in this side. Now, you know, half of this plastic, this small heart in the center, is going to be okay with it. But as soon as I go to the second half, it's going to go inside, I think. I tried to tape it off, but if I tape it off, the tape is gonna be stuck in the resin. You won't be able to get the tape off, so you're gonna see it. So it was a lessons learned. I should have glued these two pieces together before I stuck it in there. That's okay. It's a lessons learned. We'll see what happens. It may be okay. I don't know. We're going to find out. So I'm trying to get it right up to where those two come together. And then, if it gets hard right there, it might not go inside. That's my thought. We'll see. Because I'm going to come back anyway and pour some more. Let's see if this will work. It's just right there at that point where it will leak in. So I'm pouring it here. It takes a while for it to level off and get over to here. Flow that way. Well, it's looking pretty good so far. I don't see any in there. Of course, I'm pushing down pretty hard on it right now. This container of shells is pretty heavy, so that'll hold that lid down on there. That lid is sacrificial. I'm going to have to break that lid to get it out of the cement. Same with the outside. I'm just going to have to crack it and break it and get it out of there. I hope it comes off. I don't know. I've never used this type of plastic before, so we'll find out. It'll be a lessons learned. All right. Well, we got a few hours for that to harden up a little bit, and then once it does, I'm going to go ahead and I've got a whole bunch of little shells down here that I'll go ahead and stick in there. In a little bit. I'll come back to you in a little bit. All right, folks. I'm back, and it's appearing that it's not coming through. It's not going in, so it's good. It's above the line, and what I did was all the shells that were here, I added them, but then I had to go get more because it's a lot of space there. I didn't realize that, but I stuffed them all down in there. So there's going to be one more layer of resin. This resin's getting hard already. I can't even stick this down in there. Yeah, there's going to be one more layer that's going to come right up to the top of this. Okay, not quite. And, well, yeah, it's going to come right up to the top. And then what I'll do after it gets hard is I'll just crack this and then pull the pieces out. I hope. That's the plan. And some of this, I stuffed a whole bunch more small shells in there And then I sprinkled some of my broken shell pieces all around. And some of them will float down or sink, not float, they'll sink down to the bottom. And then the others will stay up top. But just before I go to pour the next layer, I'll put a whole bunch in there, a whole layer of them. Okay, so that's all you'll see is these. You won't see all these different shells, the back of all these different shells, the insides of all these different shells. So, at any rate, I'm going to give it now about 4 or 5 hours for this to settle up pretty good. Every now and then I'll come in and I'll rotate it, because this area is pretty level, but it does have just a teeny bit going this way. Oh. Okay, so that'll do it for now. Alright folks, it's been quite a while, and I'm back here. What I'm gonna do, I've been stirring this for 3 or 4 minutes now, so it's pretty much ready. Just clear. What I put in there, 52 grams of part A and 26 of part B. So I'm just gonna take these and I'm gonna put them around so that basically you just have this as a backing, sort of. I'm going to pour clear over it so it's not going anywhere. It also takes up space, so it doesn't use so much resin. I mean, everything costs money, and resin costs a lot down here in Ecuador. So, and it's hard to get too. So, I try to use the least amount as possible. This is a good space filler. I would have done the same thing except put color in the resin and filled it up with colored resin for the backing, but this is a better backing. Just use this and clear resin. Okay, I don't want that there. And the reason being is this is where I'm going to drill the hole. This is gonna hang on the wall. So I'm going to drill a hole right there, right in the center there. I think that's pretty good. Maybe a little bit more right here. Probably don't need to keep that on there anymore. All right, let's go ahead and pour this. Here we go, last pour. On this one, I don't want it to come over the top of that. I just want it to get over. There's a little part where it's not heart-shaped, it's just straight across. Once again, folks, when you're doing resin, it's good to have a heat gun, especially if you don't want bubbles. And also alcohol and a towel to wipe it off. I didn't get anything on me. It's kind of a habit to wash my hands with the alcohol after I get done. I don't know why, but it'll take off the resin. And I'm going to let this sit up. This is it. It's done except for breaking this plastic out of here. That's going to be really hard. I'm going to not look forward to that. And getting this plastic off here. And drill in the hole. I think that's about it. Unless I change my mind and want to do something else, which lots of times I do that. Because try to make it look good. Yeah, there's some bubbles right there. I'll come back here about every 5 minutes and blow it with the heater, the heat gun. That way, it'll be perfectly smooth on the back. There's something floating right there. Alright. That's all there is to it. So, next time you see it, I'll be taking the plastic off. It'll be probably tomorrow morning. So, see you later. Alright folks, it's the next morning and we're gonna take this resin out of this plastic. I was gonna drill holes in here to get this out. This is gonna break anyway. I got my safety glasses on. Yeah, this is all gonna, I don't know how hard it's gonna be to get this plastic off out of this resin. I've never used this kind of plastic before. And we're gonna find out right now. We got to take it off the outside too. Yeah, it looks like I poured a little bit too much in there so I can't get to the plastic. Once I get one place, I'll get it. It's all going to come off of here sooner or later. Get the old Dremel tool out here. File this down until I get to the plastic. I'm going to have to do that. I have to get the Dremel tool and grind this down until it gets to the plastic. Because I got to take this half, the other half is going to stay in here, but this top half has got to come out because I have another half that's going to sit on there. So this part's got to come off. And so does the outside. That'll be another thing that'll be kind of hard to get off of here, huh? Well, showing you one thing, that this stuff is hard. All right, we got it started. That's good. All right, I'm just going to come back when I get this off because the way it looks, it's going to take me a little while. So I'll come back in a moment. All right, folks, I'm back. That took about 10 minutes. Difficult. But it came off, as you can see by the pieces. It came off in like 4 big chunks, so it's looking pretty good. So now I got to find another piece to go here, and I got to trim off some of this. There's some around here that overflowed, so I just get the Dremel and trim that off. But everything else looks pretty good, so yep. I got to get another lid now. I think I might have one here. If not, I'm going to the grocery store today and I'll buy another thing of chocolates. Chocolates come in these, which I love chocolate, so it's no problem. So I try, when I make these, I try to use everything that I find. I try not to spend any money except on the resin. Of course, sometimes I have to spend money on glue or the ropes, paint, stuff like that, but sandpaper. But usually it's just the resin is what I pay for. So far, there's nothing in here that I paid for except the resin. So there you go. And it's not done yet. So we'll see what it looks like when I'm done. Alrighty folks, I'm back. I've cleaned up the inside of this. It's looking pretty good. And we'll see through it now. I did have a little issue here. I put this in and it's a good tight fit. No problem. It's below the area here so it can mount flush. The only problem was I couldn't get it out. It was flush. So I cut a little groove right here. You can't hardly see it because it's all clear. But I cut a little groove just so your fingers could fit, 2 fingers can fit in there and lift it up. So anyway, that's now how you get into it. But what I'm gonna do, I've changed my mind on how I'm gonna do this, what I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna put this heavy rope around this here on the bottom. Get this further away. And then this rope on top of it. So it's going to be 2 layers of rope there, a big one and a kind of a smaller one. And then on the top, I'm going to put these Cardita shells in the shape of a cross, like this. So, you can't see that very good, can you? I guess you can't really see it that good. I can't see it good on the picture here, but in real life you can see it perfect. But at any rate, I think what I'm going to do though is I'm going to resin the shells to Cardita shells together first and make a shell that, you know, be standalone. You can hold it up and then glue it right to this. Or maybe I'll just put it there and pour clear resin over the whole thing. That'd probably be the best thing to do, or just brush it on. Yeah, that's the best idea. Brush it on. I'll put these on and then brush on some resin, and that'll be it. That'll be the end of it. Oh, I gotta figure out, another thing I have to figure out is how I'm gonna hang it. Because it's going to be either way, that you can just like put it on your counter or somewhere on the table, or you can hang it up on the wall. The ones I've made in the past, they were different, this part of it. And so I just drilled a hole right here and just put a screw in the wall and then hung it up on the wall like that. But this one you can't really do that, because the plastic goes right up to it. This one, I've never made it with this size, these 2 size hearts, so it's different. So I might take a rope and go from here to here, so it's got a little loop, a little piece of wire or something, and then you can put a screw right here and then hang it. My problem is I'm going to have to leave a little gap right there then where this rope goes on here, so that it can hang right there. If that's the way somebody wants to do it. Hang it or put it there. I'm going to do it either way so they can have that choice. Okay, I'll come back when I get this working. All right, folks, I'm back. I'm going to go ahead and start gluing on this rope. So I'm just going to go and I figured out how I'm going to put that on there. And what I'm going to do is just not put the rope all the way to the point up here at the top, and I'm just going to leave it open at the top a little bit, and then fill it in with resin and drill a hole through it. Wow, I didn't get burned that time. That's the first time I think I ever put anything on using this glue gun without burning. I got a little bit on me, but I didn't get burned. Pretty amazing. That's me. Okay, so now this one goes on the same way. That one I had cut already pretty close to what it needed to be. This one's going to have to be cut. Cut right there. Start splitting away already as soon as I undid it. Probably as soon as I take this tape off, it'll start splitting too. Okay, time for that other rope. Yeah, it looks good. It looks real good. I'm gonna let this dry. Yeah, that looks real good. That'll be enough. I'll put resin right in there, so it'll be able to hang right there. Be perfect. All right, I gotta let this glue dry first, and I gotta clean up this top a little bit. It's kind of scratched up a little bit, and got something on it right here. I don't know what. So I'm gonna sand it down a little bit, and then I'm gonna just put these on here, these Cardita shells, into the shape of the heart, and just pour resin over them. I think is what I'll do. And the resin will, any scratches I have on here from the sandpaper, the resin will fill it in, and you'll never know they were there. So I'm gonna get set up for that. Okay, I found the little sandpaper. This is some 360. I'm just gonna do it dry. It's just, you can just tell it's like maybe a little resin or something is stuck on it. It's not real smooth. I mean, it could be, I don't know how it got like that, but it's not as smooth as it could be. And so like I said, it doesn't matter. I'll show you close up what I'm talking about here after I sand it a little bit. You'll see it's going to be all kind of like smoky where the sandpaper is hitting it. Plus this, the heart plastic form had some holes. It had these 3 big holes in it. And maybe it's probably where the label was on there. What it looks like, because there's one here, and one here too that aren't real smooth. These go in. These are big holes. These 3 here are into it. These 3 are out of it. So you can see it better now that I'm really hitting it hard now that I know what's going on. I thought it was something that I did. It's the way it's made. Okay. So anyway, you can see that's all there's to it. It's not much. I'm not doing it wet or anything. I just wanted to smooth it so it's smooth. I'll bring it in closer here. You can see how it's kind of scuffy looking now. If I can pick it up, I can't pick it up. See how it's scuffy? You see the holes? There's 3 holes those will be filled in because I'm going to pour resin right on it, as I said. But right here, you can see where I didn't, there's a hole. Let me see if I can get a dark background. Anyway, there's a hole right there. I didn't bring the rope all the way together. I can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to fill that with resin, and then I'll drill a hole. So you'll see what I'm doing when I do it. I keep changing this as I'm doing it, because I keep making it better, I think. I don't know if it'll ever finish though. Okay, hang on. We'll set up with some resin now. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Another thing I was going to do, I've got this seaweed here. I was going to put it here, so put the shells on top of it, but I have to clean it off because there's some stuff on it, old built up calcium and stuff on it. I'm going to cut some of these off to make it look more like a branch, so it's not so wide open. Okay, that's another thing I forgot to tell you, but I'm going to do that too. All right, as you can see, I put that seaweed on there and trimmed it around the shape of the heart. What I was trying to show you before is right here in the very corner there, I'm going to fill that in with the resin right here, that whole area right in there. So then I'll drill a hole, and so you, from the back side, it won't come all the way through, and then you can hang it that way. So at any rate, that'll do it. I'll come back after I get some resin made up. I'm just going to start brushing the resin on here to hold this down, because if you look at it from the side view, it's kind of up a lot. So I want to hold some of it down to it. So we'll get going on that in a second. All right, folks, I'm back. What I did was I cut this this plastic cup, and I just put it right there use that as a dam so that the resin doesn't flow all over the place. It'll just fill that hole, and hopefully it'll fill the bottom part. The bottom part is slid underneath. It's round underneath here, so it's round. So hopefully it'll fill that, and then I could just come back and sand it off if I need to. So at any rate, I've mixed up 20 grams of part A and 10 of part B. And I'm just gonna, I've got a little brush right there. I'm just gonna start brushing it on in just a moment. I'm letting this sit up for a little bit. I wanna make sure that it's nice and cooked. When it starts getting warm, it don't take long when it's in a little bit in a container like this. So I'll give it about maybe 10 minutes so I can start brushing it on. All right, folks, I'm ready. It's ready, and as usual, when I pour resin, I have alcohol available in case I get it on my hands. I have a paper towel. Just squirt it on my hands, wipe it off with the paper towel. I will get resin this time, and it's good to have. In this case, I have 2 pointers because I'm going to have to be manipulating this as it goes on. See, it's already not in the spot it's going to be. So this coat here is just going to be a real thin one, basically just to hold this thing down. That's all. That's all I want it to do, really. And to also start this little point right here. So just going to start pouring it right now. Pretty good right there. So I'm going to give this about maybe 2 hours to 3 hours to kind of set up. I was thinking about putting something across here and setting it on there. If I put a piece of this plastic on there, it won't stick to the resin, but what will happen is where it touches and I pull it off, it'll be flat instead of round. So I think I'm going to keep it just like that for now, and then we'll see what happens when I go to paint it later. Alrighty, folks, I'm back, and as you can see, I've put the the shells on the top here to form the cross. And I have it lifted off so I can get the brush under here. If there's any that flows over and drips, I'll be able to get the drips off because it's slightly above the ground. You can see this is sealed now, and now this is just, they're just sitting here. So I'm gonna just pour this clear over those. See what I mean? It's just a little bit off. Not sitting level. Alright. So now if it drips, I can get it. I've still got this over here I'm working on. It's slowly filling up. I guess it was absorbing into the rope. I guess that's where it was going. It didn't go on the bottom, so it had to go somewhere. So anyway, I'm just going to pour this over, and then I'll come back after that and I'll trim off some of these edges that are sticking up. There's just a little sticking up stuff, so I'll just file them off a little bit, and then I'll put one final coat on it and seal all the ropes and everything. This is just basically to hold these down right here in these. And if there's some left over, then I'll give it a light coat on the rope. But I can't finish it off because I got to fill this this hole there so I can drill the hole in to hang it. So anyway, this is done. I got 20 grams of part A, 10 of part B, and I've stirred it for quite a while. About 10 minutes. I'm standing there watching TV doing it. So okay, so I'll just pour it on here and hope for the best. It's basically, I just want to seal these shells, these Cardita shells. Tomorrow I'll brush on everything. I won't pour it. I'll brush the whole thing. Just, this will be done. This will be hard, and I'll be able to, I might have to add more, I don't know. But I'll be able to see if I have to. So, until tomorrow. It's a long process making these. Well, folks, I'm back. It's the next day. All that I did yesterday has been dry. I still got to put a little bit more down in that hole. I'm going to put a coat over all of it now, even the sides. So you can see there's none on the sides. But everything is sealed and it's ready to go. I will be putting it on the rope, probably, most likely. I'll secure the rope too. So, I trimmed off all of these earlier. This was an assortment of tools I used to trim off all this that was protruding over the edge down here too. So, okay, I'll get pouring. I've mixed up 30 right here. I've mixed up 30 grams of part A and 15 of part B. And so, as usual, have your alcohol, paper towel, some pointers or something. I won't need those this time probably, unless I'm going to poke a bubble, a big bubble. And also, you need a heat gun, and I'll be using a brush to brush it on. So, I'm going to set the camera up, and then we'll start painting it on. Alrighty, folks, here we go. I'm just going to just pour this on right now, and then I'll brush it, get some on there. This is never coming off of here. All right, folks, that'll do it. It's just a matter of letting it dry now. Give me about 5 or 6 hours, and this will be complete enough for me to drill the hole. I have to still drill the hole to hang it. So I'll do that as soon as it dries, and I'll do an end video on it. Here you go, folks. Item number 139 is complete. It's a, well, you can put coins in it or jewelry, candy. It's a little container box shaped like a heart. It's got a cross made out of Cardita shells. It's got about 25 different types of shells within it, as you can see as it goes around. And it's got 2 different types and sizes, colors and sizes of ropes. And just to let you see what it looks like, I'm going to take this into the house. But first I think I'm going to hang it on the wall so you can see how easy it is. Because you could set this, turn the light on, you can set this on the table or just hang it on the wall. Just like that, one-handed, I hung it on the wall. But the container is so large that you can actually put your TV remote control in there. Money, candy, remote control, all secured. Nobody will even know it's there. So there you have it. Item number 139 is complete.